Hey everybody, Adam here from Mental Watches. Welcome to the office. Federico Ayosa of Del Rey Watch, the one and only. He came here to the office today to show me some vintage watches because he's not too confident sometimes buying vintage watches without us. Same thing with modern watches. We have a couple that we wanted his opinion on because we're not too sure of the watch and the value. So we are going to show you conversations that we have all the time. Now give you guys a peek at it, I guess. So now we're looking at the watches, the fun stuff.
But I haven't, just to be clear, fellas, he hasn't seen these watches yet.
Right.
Literally, a good customer of mine dropped them off at the office, and he wanted me to buy them. And I told my customer, listen, this is not what I buy, generally, but leave them to me for a day, and I'll get you an offer. Because Adam has gotten me out of a lot of hot water in the past, and now we have this kind of relationship where 90% of the watches, of vintage watches I buy, I pretty much sell to you.
Listen, it's the same when it comes to a lot of these weird modern watches. Every time we get these cool, quirky things, the first thing Jordan does is pick up the phone and call you. Go straight to your office like, hey man, buy this please. We don't know. Okay, well let's start with my two watches that I would love for you to buy, if possible. I know a little bit about them, but I feel like you know more. So we have a Patek and a Cartier. I'm gonna hand them to you. I'm sure you saw a glance on the table when we put them down.
All right, so here we have a Patek 5296 sector dial. Pretty funny you should offer this to me because I actually own this watch personally.
Oh, wow.
I wear it all the time, so I do know quite a bit about this.
Beautiful watch.
And this right here is a Cartier Tank Américaine Platinum. The only thing I'm trying to figure out here, because this size, this is the manual wind.
I believe so. You know more.
Yeah, it's manual wind. Yeah. So this would be the large. There is an extra large that's automatic.
Right.
That would house a Frédéric Piguet movement. I believe this has a Piaget movement, but don't quote me on that. But I used to work for Cartier. This probably dates, I would say, the mid-2000s, like 2005 to 2008.
Okay.
Maybe a little bit older. The buckle is white gold, of course, because they cut cost on the platinum back when platinum was more expensive than gold.
I love when I see Adam R. Piguet Royal Oak from the 90s, early 2000s. That's like a full platinum watch or like tantalum platinum and then the buckle is steel every time. It's like, what is going on?
So a couple questions about the Patek.
Okay.
Box and papers?
Papers, no box. The box is included, but it just came in from South America, and they always ship the boxes later on.
Separate.
Okay.
Do you know the year?
I could have Jordan look up.
So the reason I ask is because some of these were rhodium plated, the newer ones, which means they cannot be polished, because if you polish it, it's yellow underneath. Ooh. The older ones are solid white gold, or maybe it's vice versa, but I know there's a cutoff.
There's one or the other.
There's one and the other. It's in my notes, like at the office, but if you get me the year, I can get you a more accurate range, but I'd say with box and papers.
Toss them over.
Oh.
You heard us in the background.
It is modern.
Drum roll.
This is going to be 2010 and onward.
Ready?
Yeah.
Ready for it? 2006.
Oh no.
So it's the other way around.
So the problem is, I think 2006 is the cutoff.
Okay. So can you polish or can you not polish?
So here's what I would do. There's two ways to do it. Either you call Patek with the serial number, and if they're feeling generous, they'll tell you. Or you take off,
like a test area polish?
Take off the strap and polish the inside of the lug. And,
dude, I never knew that.
And just see if a little bit of rhodium comes off.
That's crazy. Do you know why they rhodium plated them? Just to make it like shinier, maybe?
It's just to make it shinier, and like you can re-rhodium something, but it would have to go to Patek.
Yeah, I don't want to re-rhodium plate them. Yeah.
Not that this needs it, but I know my customers, when they're going to buy this from me, they're going to ask me.
Okay, so I was going to ask you to make an offer. I'm not going to do that. Let's do our.
I can tell you this. Depending on everything, it's going to be between 20 and 23,000.
Okay.
You know, depending on the information I got.
Perfect. That is absolutely the information I need to know. Dude, you just taught me something I never knew. That is awesome. We'll figure it out, I guess, later.
We'll figure that out.
You know what I can even do is I'll give you the watch and you can figure it out. But by the way, were these brands doing rhodium plating in the early 2000s? So they only did that on white gold watches?
Only on white gold. Only on white gold. It turns white gold brighter.
Well, so I think also possibly why they would do that is because from my experience with vintage watches, like early 1803s, for example, in white gold, like the crowns are also white gold, but they always turn yellow. And they have like a tint to it. Not like bright yellow.
No, but
like
you can see.
You can see the difference.
Like a smoker's teeth.
Yeah, so I guess by rhodium plating it, it gives it a more polished look that's not going to change colors. And I think that's what they're going for. They're going for no patina.
They're going for no patina, and you can actually polish something that's rhodium plated, but it has to be very light. Like you don't want to remove the rhodium because then you actually can see patches.
Right.
You know, there's 2 different colors.
Okay.
So this is platinum. So
Platinum. It has papers. It does not have a box.
The only thing I hate about this, I'm going to tell you right now, is the strap.
Yeah.
Because it cannot be reused. And these like special straps, Cartier charges an arm and a leg. We're
Enlighten us. How much?
$500 to $700 easily for an alligator, just a simple alligator.
Even this, which you're going to show me, but I could see it out of the corner of my eye. We ordered these straps from
$240. I ordered one yesterday.
Yeah, from Patek all the time, and they're not expensive. You could get them in green and brown and black.
So Cartier, a brand that makes alligator purses for a living as well, they're going to charge you a premium for the stuff. Top of my head, once again, I don't have a computer in front of me, but I would ballpark this at $9 grand.
Okay.
Maybe I'm being not quite generous enough, but I'd rather give you a low price now and then give me a couple of hours.
Yeah, I think that's was in the range of what we were looking at anyway.
And also, just so you know, anything in platinum and white gold and yellow gold, the little faceted sapphire here is actually a sapphire. On steel, it's a spinel. So Cartier refuses to set precious gemstones in non-noble metals.
That makes sense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it kind of gives like the precious metal watches a little bit more.
I mean, it's still probably a lab sapphire, but it's a sapphire.
I kind of understand that, you know?
These are cool. I just love the Art Deco kind of like, you know, these were modeled after skyscrapers in New York City from the 20s. Kind of like the Flatiron.
You really did work at Cartier because you know way too much.
Well, it's a brand, you know, a lot of appreciation for Cartier.
Yeah, we were just talking about them on your video.
They gave me my start. You know, I started pouring champagne for $12 an hour, and you know, here I am 15 years later. So yeah, I mean, listen, very cool. The Patek I'm super excited about. I'll sell that quick.
Shall be yours, my friend.
This is a very nice watch. Let me just see what the strap's going to cost me.
Sure. Okay.
Right.
Let's move on to, I see you got 4 watches for me right now.
So
one
let me
Patek.
start off with the easiest one.
Sure.
So this one I know a little bit about, but it's just not for me.
Yep. Original jumbo.
Exactly. 5065.
This is the original jumbo, and I can tell that right away that it's not a 5165, which is the same case size and basically the same look, because it's a tritium dial. That's why you brought it to me. It's got the I can see right away. So let me grab a loop. This is the very first jumbo Aquanaut that Patek made.
So what's the difference between, is this a 35 millimeter?
38.
So
this was their original
one.
jumbo.
Okay,
yeah, before like the 5167 became, and all of them became 40 millimeter plus. This was their original jumbo. It came out like in the 2nd year of production of the actual Aquanaut in conjunction with the smaller size. The earliest ones had tritium dials, tritium hands, which is what collectors really want.
Yeah.
The other ones are Luminova. They're not bad. They just have a more modern looking, they're a more modern looking watch. You know, the Lume is green.
As I saw the patina and the older style strap, I'm like, I haven't sold one of these ever.
Yeah, we sell a lot of these. These are one of our hottest sellers. I've sell these to huge watch fans, new watch fans, celebrity clients, everybody, because I think the size is perfect for most people at 38 millimeters, and the Aquanaut is just such like a storied watch, you know, that like, it's just so easy to wear in every scenario.
I'm going to say something unpopular.
What's that?
I hate the Aquanaut.
Okay.
So, for you guys that don't know, I actually started in watch retail, right? So I sold Patek behind the counter.
Right.
And this is before those were hot. So in like 2009, when we had these in the window of Wempe Fifth Avenue, this was basically like a high school graduation gift.
Yeah.
For like, it's like no one who wanted a Patek wanted an Aquanaut.
I get it.
Someone who had to gift a Patek that didn't want to spend Patek money.
But you know why I like these though? Well, maybe not at like current pricing as much as, like you said, they used to be an entry level Patek and an entry level sports Patek, which is cool.
Yes.
You could wear this, and that's why you see guys like Paul McCartney wearing this watch, you know, and all these guys wearing these watches as just like an everyday beater.
Well,
Patek,
so here's the thing. I like it enough to wear it. When I was like telling you about my hate, it's more that this is not 30, you know, this is not a 40, whatever it is, like whatever the price is on this right now, it doesn't make any sense.
You also remember a time where you could pick this up for like $8,000, you know, so.
I mean, I remember people walking in, I think it was 18 grand, full retail, brand new.
Yeah, and then used, you picked them up for half, you know?
Yeah,
I get it.
And I used to put that in the showcase every morning. No one wanted that thing.
Yeah. It's like same with Nautiluses, same with a lot of Daytonas, you know, it's the same thing. But tastes change, evolves change, trends change. I personally really like the watch. I think it's as like a daily wear, not a super flashy, this version, maybe not the more modern versions, not a 5164, 5167, 5168, etc. This version in particular is one of my favorite neo-vintage Pateks.
Okay,
you know?
so this has Papers, but no box.
Okay. Yeah.
What are we ballparking it at?
Ballparking, like you gave me a range for yours. It looks like a case needs some love, possibly unpolished, but like
Needs love.
more.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue.
Sounds like it probably needs a little bit of a service. Probably in the mid to high 30 range is what I would pay for it.
It's a little better than I thought. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All right. I like the Aquanaut. I'm a big fan.
All right, door number 2.
Door number 2 is this Universal Geneve. Very pretty chronograph that I know absolutely nothing about, but I saw the name and it has to
So
come
this is a 1950s, I could have to like look up the serial number to get the exact year, Medico-Compax. So UG back in the day made a bunch of different compacts, 2 register chronograph watches for different purposes. So most famous of which is the film Compax, which measures, you know, how fast a film reel is going. This one, Medico-Compax.
I'm guessing?
For film or Medico?
No, Medico.
Yeah.
Medico.
Not for film.
They speak Italian.
So
but...
Medico, yeah, obviously for medical purposes, it has a pulsation scale at the top. So for medical professionals, very cool watch. These are actually popular too. They're hard to find, number one, but this is 37 millimeters. Most of the watches are 35 or smaller. For the era, it was big, rose gold, cool watch.
Are they a pain to service?
You have to have the right watchmaker. Not a pain, but sometimes getting parts could be difficult. Relatively simple chronograph movement. It's a good chronograph movement, but it just depends. There's the problem with a lot of these vintage watches is parts and getting a watchmaker who understands what they're doing.
So my problem is my watchmaker can work on it, but he hates sourcing parts.
Right.
So that's my job.
Right.
And I just don't want to spend the next 4 hours of my life going through like the dark parts of the internet to try and find like a clutch.
I hear you. Yeah.
You know?
A balance. Anyways, beautiful watch. Looks like the dial has a nice patina, but like nice looking. Case is really strong. Really nice example.
Obviously, the buckle's unoriginal, but that's not uncommon.
That's absolutely common. It's probably in like the 5K range to buy. You know.
Solid gold?
Solid gold.
Okay.
It's not a lot of gold.
No, it's not, but it's very thin. It's very no, I know.
This would probably melt at like $1,000.
Well, if you pop off the case back, it's very, very thin.
Yeah.
This is literally like the Patek, the Patek. I knew what to expect.
Right.
Kind of like what number you might say.
Right.
This, I'm like, could it be 100,000 or could it be $50? I don't know.
The only UG chronographs that really get up into that range are like really rare split seconds, like Corelli watches, or film compacts used to be in that range. It's obviously come down since. There's really not many UGs that get into that level. So, but yeah, this is a really cool watch, and I think they've been popular for a long time, especially amongst like diehard collectors. They skyrocketed in value over the past, let's say, decade. They've kind of flatlined and remained constant, but I think with Breitling, we talked about in your video, revitalizing the brand, you could see renewed interest. I'm not saying you will,
but you could.
Please don't take this as me saying buy UG because they're going to go up in value. I have no clue. But I think there could be revitalized interest in the brand.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
it
could be. So I'd like to own some nice examples. You know, I always like to have nice examples.
So
a couple Rolex.
This is one I was debating retailing at Del Rey.
Right.
Because we have sold these before.
Right.
But seeing how nice the patina is, and to be very frank with you, the fact that the difference between wholesale cost and retail cost in Rolex is so insignificant.
Marginal, yeah.
You'll give me close to what I'd retail, I imagine.
Yeah.
We'll find out. And honestly, it's a really nice vintage piece. So I think you'll do well with it. But why don't you be the judge?
So we have a reference 5513 from the 80s. White gold surrounds, gloss dial.
Very even patina though.
Yeah, the patina looks great. It is what we call a spider dial. So a lot of these dials were defective, where the lacquer, the clear coat on top would crack, and spider, giving it like a cool look. Some collectors love it, some collectors hate it. It's a very divisive thing.
That's what made me bring it here, because I'm not saying anything bad about my audience or my buyers, but this is not the typical thing I would sell on Del Rey watch.
Case is absolutely amazing, unpolished. Like you said, the patina is beautiful across the dial and hands. Nice yellow tritium. Really nice watch. It's probably like in the 7-8K range.
Okay, so in my head, I was thinking 8K,
right?
But 7, that makes perfect sense.
Talk to the guy who owns them, see if we could put together something. But yeah, it's a nice watch. Like I like it. It's a nice piece for somebody who's not super particular about having like a perfect dial, because if you buy a Spider dial, you're not one of these guys who has to have everything 10 out of 10. But this is like a quintessential true vintage piece. You know, you have flaws on the lacquer, which caused it to crack, which gives it like this awesome appearance, you know, and you have to be into that, you know.
And you can still wear it without being like worried that you have 5 figures on your wrist. Yeah.
Yes, I thought you were going to ask, worried about it like cracking in the dial falling off. No, because people ask me that all the time, and I'm like, well, why hasn't it fallen off then yet? You know, and you don't really see dials with like chunks of the dial.
I've never seen that on Rolex at least.
Yeah, because it was just a clear coat that cracked. It's not the actual dial.
Together.
Right, it's not the dial. Okay, last one. We have another white gold surrounds, this time a GMT.
Pepsi with papers.
Pepsi with papers. Here, let's just take a gander.
16750, I want to say. Okay.
16750, also from the 80s, sold 1988 out of Hong Kong. I'm a huge fan of these watches.
These have gotten a little love recently, because I remember I actually owned a 16750 before. Probably about 10 years ago, I bought it for $5,000.
Back in the good old days. Wow, this watch is beautiful.
This guy was careful.
Yeah,
Apart
great taste.
from the Patek, which you wore every day, that has a little...
This was somebody who actually liked vintage watches, you know, like, and actually, you know, wore his watches. I'm assuming he didn't buy all these new or anything. He bought them,
think
you know?
the Patek he might have purchased new.
Either way, my point is that like, he wore cool watches and interesting watches.
Yeah.
This watch is, unlike the 5513, has no spider. It's a perfect gloss style. Same thing, beautiful patina, beautiful case, unpolished. Papers, and the papers, I love how they're also punched 16750. Most punch papers don't have the reference number like that.
Why is that? Like, I never understood.
Depends on where they were sold, whether they did or not. Yeah.
So like Rolex Hong Kong just stamped their papers differently than Rolex Buenos Aires?
Pretty much.
Okay.
That's what it is. Really like this watch. I'm assuming based on the fonts of the bezel, it's also a red back bezel, so it's not a service replacement, which would be on blue in the back. I could tell just based on the fonts that were used. I would be very surprised if it were.
You can just pop that off with your bare hands?
I do this a lot. See, you can even see red back, but you see how dirty it is underneath? That thing's been sitting on this watch for a long time. You can see even underneath the bezel.
I'd be so terrified to do what you just did.
So anyways, this watch I would be a buyer for in the low to mid-teens. I'd want to like turn on the lights and really
like take a look at it.
Because of the condition, it's really, really nice. I would probably, if your guy comes back and he's like, no, I want more money, let me know and hopefully work something out because I'd like to buy it, you know? So it's a nice watch. It's really hard to find them in this kind of condition, you know?
I'm going to leave him here. He knows I'm going to leave him here for a day.
Right.
So take your time. Just shoot me a text tomorrow with what you think you could do.
I'll put together numbers.
Build in like a little slice for your boy here, and I'll shoot him over. I mean, that's genuinely that's how it works.
You're not doing this for free.
I'm not doing this for free. I'm not going to make a killing on him, but considering I helped him find the buyer,
of course. And listen,
$100.
None of these watches like are crazy profitable watches.
No,
they're all marginal, but they're all nice watches to have, and they're watches that are easily sellable. But anyways, dude, let's get these sorted away.
Yeah, listen, just tomorrow shoot me a text, whatever it is, and if it works, I'll give you his wire details. Just send them over the cash, and I'll invoice you for everything. It's fine.
Perfect.
As far as that goes, I'll take a look at the Cartier, and I'll wait for the Patek box.
Okay.
Because, I mean, I'm sure you know this, but we'll say it for the sake of the viewers.
Right.
Patek boxes are like $500 or more. Or close to 1,000 maybe.
Close to 1,000 now, I think, The prices, for some reason, just on the boxes just keep going up. I don't know why. It's so arbitrary. They just keep going up.
But it's one of those things that, like, if you can make an extra $600-700 selling me the watch with the box, then it's just worth it.
No, I mean, listen, I think obviously most buyers would prefer, if it has the papers, to also have the box. And my personal collecting habits, I don't care.
I don't buy box or papers. Right. I buy
But I understand why people like to have it, And if it's so it's no problem. I'll get the box, assuming we can get these sold to you.
I think it shouldn't be a problem. The Patek 99.9% yes, the Cartier 85%. Let me just figure out a strap. Situation.
Let's do it. Well, I'm glad we got to show this to everybody because we do this all the time, albeit most of the times over the phone. Thank you for coming by.
Absolutely, brother.
Good to see you.
Thank you, man.
All right, Federico just left our office. He left us some amazing watches to take a look at. We're going to look at them under some better lighting and shoot him an offer for the package. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this. As always, if you can, like, comment, subscribe, anything you can do to help us grow the channel. Thanks so much for watching, guys. See you on the next one. Bye.